Hi everybody, Stephanie with SimplyFun here to show you all the games on sale for October. In My Monster, we are working on colors and shapes for those little ones. And these boards are all double-sided, so if you have two people that want pink, that's a-okay. On your turn, grab one item out of the bag. It's hardest part, just one now. And you match it up onto your board. I have a red heart. If you already have your cart covered, you can either share it with somebody else, or you can put it back in the bag. The first person to fill their entire card wins.
Here we have Pickles Slide To Win. It's based on a carnival theme, and it's great for those young players who are just learning how to sit still for a game. So here we have this marble that we are going to try to slide through one of the tunnels to win a prize. So we'll slide that through, and if it lands on an animal, you're gonna get the corresponding prize. So this is the pink side. If I landed on a big animal, I get a small prize. If I were to have landed on one of the smaller animals, I would get one of the smaller, or the big prize, okay? 5 prizes and you win.
In Phantom Seas, we are using some navigational skills to collect treasure. So you'll play one of your cards, which tells you which direction you can go, this way being north right now. We'll play that and be able to collect this treasure right here. But you have to watch out for this phantom ship, because if it has a number on there, that's how many spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I didn't even need them all. He can take my buried treasure from me. You also have to watch out for the whirlpools, because if you land on one of those while you get to keep the treasure, the whole game board is going to turn. And then you just simply turn your compass as well. Chess on the Loose is great for anybody who really loves chess, or maybe they're just beginning and learning how to play, or maybe the game really stresses you out like it does me, and you need something to help lighten it up. Okay, so we have 3 different variations that we're going to play. We are going to play chess like following all the normal rules, but we've got a few additions. So in this first one, we've got Frankenstein, who's also going to be traveling the board. And so after every single one of your turns, you're going to draw a card, and he is going to move about. And if ever he lands in a space where you have one of your game pieces, he's going to totally knock it out, okay? You can also play it with all these little letter tokens, and as you're playing you can pick those up, and if you ever spell the word bishop or knight or rook, you are then able to add one of these game pieces onto your game board. The third variation is where we are collecting these little treasure tokens, and once all the treasure tokens are picked up, whoever has the most points at the end of the game would win. Now, just as with regular chess, if ever there is a checkmate, the game is over. In Mirror Mansion, we are walking through a haunted house trying to find treasure. So right now, we're trying to find these gold coins, and they could be pretty much anywhere in the house. We look through our little spy window here, and using these mirrors, we bounce around to see where the gold coins might be. Betcha Can't Win is a dice and math game that can get extremely competitive. So each player gets their own set of colored dice, and then we lay out 5 cards here. These cards all have a different number on them, and the higher the number, the more points they're going to be worth. All yellow cards are worth 20, pink are 15, green is 10, and then we have blue for 5. On your turn, you're going to roll your set of dice, and you are going to try to add up to one of the numbers on the cards. So I'm going to put my 6 up here, and I'm going to choose to re-roll the rest and see if I can get some better numbers. So I will keep adding to this, trying to get to that number as quickly as I can. So what do we have here? 17. Oh, there we go, 20. Let's see if I can get another card. Oh, I don't think it's gonna happen. Nope. Okay, so what happens here then is I met this number, so I am then able to collect this card, okay? This card here, I did not add up to 11, so my dice have to stay here. And on other players' turns, they are able to use those dice to try to add up to this number. Now, here's where the game gets really ruthless. Even though I've collected this card, I may not get to keep it. At this point, other players, as they're playing, if they would like to put their dice onto this card and try to steal it, they can. If they match the number, they would then be able to take the card. However, if nobody matches it up until my next turn, once it's my turn, I would then be able to flip that card over and secure it. Now, the game ends when we can no longer put 5 cards up here, and then everybody's going to then flip over their cards and tally up their point values. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. You guys, this game is such a hidden gem. Amalgam is easily one of my favorite games. So what you are trying to do is collect as many of one ingredient as you can and put it into your cauldron. As you can see here, there are 4 of these poison bottles. That's how many there are of each ingredient. So each one of these has a different number on it, and that is your point value. It also tells you how many spaces you're going to move on your next turn. So to start out, everybody has a cauldron with a 2 on it. That's how many spaces you're going to get to move. So to start out with, I'm going to go 1, 2 spaces along the outside here. We just go around the outside. And then I'm able to pick up any ingredient from this row. Now you can see that all these points, they're color coded. If you pick up cards that match your pawn, those will be worth bonus points at the end of the game. Now, this is where there's going to be a level of strategy and planning. You can see that there are 2 different green cards in here, so I'd love to be able to collect both of these. But let's take a look and see where each of these are going to end me, where I will end up. If I pick up the 4, that means on my next turn I get to move 4 spaces. So I can kind of map this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can look ahead and see if there's anything in that row that I want. And there's not really. So maybe I want to take this 2 instead. I would end up 1, 2, and I'd be able to pick up this one. Okay, so that seems like a pretty good move. So I'll go ahead and I'll collect this card and put it into my cauldron and then refill the space. Now once you put something into your cauldron, you are not allowed to flip back through and look what's in there. So there's a memory component here because you have to be paying attention to what you're picking up. Let's see. Once we've run out of cards here, the game is going to be over, and that's when we are going to finally look at everything, the cards you collected, and tally up your points. So if you only have 1 of one ingredient, you would actually subtract that number. If you have 2 of a kind, you'd get 0 points. 3 of a kind, you get the point value. And like I said, if you have all of one color, or if you've collected the colors, you'd actually get bonus points if they match your pawn, right? You'll also notice that there are some spell cards in here. These can come in very handy. If you had picked this one up at some point during your play, if I were to land on this corner, instead of essentially losing my turn, I could use this spell and be able to move again. So there are a bunch of those fun little cards in here as well. And then if this game itself is all too easy, there are also these fun recipe cards that you can add into gameplay for bonus points. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at SimplyFun with Steph.